stands, Houston, Colorado, Sporting KC against the Red Bulls. And then we'd have New England against NYCFC. So the final game coming up this evening, and there we have the starting lineup and the notable absentee forced upon Patrick Vieira is David Villa, suspended for this game after his sending off at the weekend. Eirik Johansson starts in goal. Tommy McNamara, who had a wonderful 2016, is out there, as well as number 21, the magician, Andrea Pirlo. And the Rapids with, I've got to say, Brian, a pretty strong lineup. They will line up in a 4-2-3-1. That's Birch on the left, Miller on the right. Be Cronin and Azira holding. Powers in the 10, Badgie left, Hairston right, and Kevin Doyle up top as we get underway here. As the shadows begin to stretch out across the field. In Keno North Stadium, the Rapids looking to kick on from their win against New England Revolution at the weekend. And New York City looking to try and get a point on the board. McNamara. Cut out by Cronin, back to Pirlo. Johansson. A little slow there. Shannon Gomez couldn't find Okoli. Big things, high hopes of a much better 2017 for Shannon Gomez than he had in 2016. Training injury in mid-July put paid to his, or the remainder of his 2016 season. But he's back and looking to be back stronger than ever in 2017. Patrick Vieira is down on the bench, despite being sent to the stands on Saturday. One of the best players of his generation, of course. World Cup winner with France. And a wonderful career, club career as well, notably at Arsenal. Coming into his second season in Major League Soccer as the head coach of New York City. Much better second season than the first in 2015. It's always tough for those new clubs coming in, but he's seemed to have settled into a pattern. Some wonderful players who came good for him in 2016, notably, we've already mentioned McNamara, Jack Harrison as well, who had a wonderful rookie year. And who knows, he maybe even picked up Rookie of the Year had it not been for the injury that kept him out of the first 12 games of the season. The Rapids, meanwhile, looking to build on what was a good turnaround season for them from 2015, or 2014-2015 into 2016. Two of the best sides in Major League Soccer in 2016, New York City and Colorado Rapids. Birch then looking for Doyle, who was shielding his eyes not just from the ball but also the sun as well. He kind of just rose above the shadows and the sun struck him from above the grandstand.
Well, there at least is plenty of sun here in Tucson today, so it's a wonderful environment for the game this afternoon, and I think two teams that are ready for this challenge for sure.
McNamara, he's got the captain's armband, it looks like. Birch just gets in the way of that, denying Gomez, who is battling back. Another effortless layoff from Pirlo.
That is interesting to note that McNamara's got the captain's band on playing next to Pirlo.
When you're Andrea Pirlo, I don't suppose the armband matters. You've got those qualities that people will look up to. Gomez finds Shelton. Briant. Back to Sweat. And 11 games, 11 days respectively, should I say, away from the first games of the season, first regular season games of the season for these two teams. The Rapids home to New England Revolution on March the 4th, a 4 p.m. kickoff. New York City FC, an extra 24 hours to wait. They will open the new stadium at Orlando on March the 5th.
Interesting approach, slightly different approach, but by the two teams today was looking at the teams that they put out here. A little bit of a mix in the New York City FC team. They've got some starters. They've got some guys that need some minutes in here as well. You see Pablo Mastroeni and his group, and he's put out a group that you're going to see a lot of these combinations of players opening day in Colorado when they face New England. But slightly different approach. Colorado's we anticipate, will make wholesale changes at halftime and play a couple 45-minute groups, and then look toward the weekend to push kind of a starting group through more minutes as we get there. So a little bit of difference in philosophy here.
And our understanding is that they are due to play, well, as things stand, they're due to play the Dynamo twice on Saturday, a scrimmage in the morning, and then as things stand at the moment, the championship game in the evening. That could change if New York City get their act together and start rattling the goals in, which would be, say, unusual for the Rapids last season. But New York City were the team that ended the long unbeaten run for the Rapids with that 5-1 win inside Yankee Stadium, not helped by the sending off of Michael Azira. And a hat-trick, the first ever hat-trick in NYCFC franchise history for Frank Lampard. On the overlap, Schuberg. And Mark Birch will bring that away with Kyrie Shelton giving chase.
Well, if there's a team that can turn it on, it's this New York City team. They've certainly got some attacking threats there, and even the new man, Nicole, who tore it up in USL last year for Cincinnati, adds that threat to goal right away.
And that's going to be maybe one to watch up top for NYCFC. Okoli against Jared Watts. They were at Wake Forest together. Now they're on opposite sides and right on each other's shoulder. Briant. One of the consistent elements of the NYCFC back four last season. 31 appearances, played every minute of those in the regular season, 2 games in the playoffs as well. And they came up against a very much informed Toronto FC. Handball against Eric Miller. .12 goals in the first 2 games combined today. 6-2 win for New England against Sporting KC. And a 2-2 tie between Houston Dynamo and New York Red Bulls. Azira, who's not had much of an off-season to be fair, was with Uganda at the Africa Cup of Nations. Under pressure. Badji giving chase. Against Sweat. Ben Sweat, the bigger and the bulkier, gets the better of that one. For those not too familiar with that name, number 85 for NYCFC tonight. Drafted by Columbus in 2014. Didn't play for them, loaned to Dayton Dutch Lions, then spent 2015 and 2016 at Tampa Bay Rowdies. See the most deftest of touches there from Andrea Pirlo, and I'd like to say it's because of the years at 37, but he's always had that very laid back, almost effortless style, hasn't he? Almost as if he's got all the time in the world.
He always ensures that he's got one or two steps that give him the time to play and just be calm and smooth, and his technique is so good.
So up go the big bodies, in particular 6'7" Axel Schuberg. Powers with the delivery, looking for Schuberg, who sold the dummy there by Okoli.
It's called doing just enough.
Sturzer. One of those who's done enough to impress Patrick Vieira. Having arrived as a trialist in pre-season, he was signed last week. John Sturzer spent 4 years at Real Salt Lake. The foreseeable future at New York City. Dylan Powers, bit of space in centre field, finds Cronin. New York City sitting deep with numbers behind the ball.
I think it's noticeable right now how narrow that Badji and Hairston are starting, and the fact that Miller and Birch are going to have to join in more advanced areas to give width to this team right now. It's just slight adjustment to what they've maybe done in the past.
Birch gets the return, trying to hold off the challenge of Shelton. Shelton, who only started 13 of 22 appearances in 2016, and yet he was joint second in assists with 9, only Andrea Pirlo with more, and the New York City side with 11. Add to that the 4 goals, so an effective player. Didn't quite sit down for Sam Cronin that one. No problems for Johansson. The first home game for New York City is on March the 12th. That's at home to DC United. Go to nycfc.com or call 855 776 9232 for tickets for that home opener. What is NYCFC's third season in Major League Soccer? Nice run from Miller. That will go out for a corner kick.
Get a look at Kevin Doyle turning the corner here. And really just can't slip that next ball as Hairston kind of moves out. Can't slip that ball in across the face of the goal. Good movement, not a lot in the final third yet from either team.
Powers shielding his eyes from the sun. The outswinger. Found the head of Eric Miller there. Not fully cleared. Doyle up against Pirlo. Gives the ball away. Taken early by Pirlo, spotting Okoli up against Birch. Zera and Cronin getting back to support, and Jared Watts as well. A little too much to do for the 24-year-old.
Well, fantastic from Pirlo to recognize Okoli 1v1 with Birch and actually try to spring him there. I think it even surprised Okoli. Get a look at it there, and he just can't get a handle on it so that he can face him and go 1v1. Could have created a pretty dangerous situation.
Miller was kind of rocking on his heels there, wasn't he?
Well, his first step went backward, and he ended up in kind of that no man's land.
Sturzer. The Azera snapping at his ankles. Back to Gomez. Briant. "18 minutes gone, or in the 18th. Still no score between New York City FC and Colorado Rapids in this final game of the third round of matches at the Desert Diamond Cup. Kyrie Shelton. Gomez on his outside, trying to thread the ball through to John Sturzer. The Rapids bring it away. They're outnumbered. The Rapids not getting a clear look at the moment. Birch is going to have to be quick. Shelton's a little quicker.
But every time Colorado looks up, they're facing 10 and 11 guys behind the ball. Okoli, who's the point of that defense, well inside his own, or behind his own center circle, and is making it difficult. And they're going to have to move the ball quicker to see if they can stretch that out, because they've run out of options centrally. Take a look, try to freeze the group in front of them, and then get the ball moving again.
Ben Sweat. Now to Kwame Awa. Canadian rookie, signed with the 16th pick of the first round. Or should I say selected, but he was signed by New York City just a couple of days ago. Playing at left back in this game, he can operate in midfield as well. Powers, Hairston's made a little run, couldn't be found, it's going to drop to Doyle, under pressure from McNamara. Doyle across goal, and that's just shaving the outside of the post. Johansson reacted, not sure he would have got to that one.
But when the traffic is in front of you and the bodies are thick, sometimes you got to resort to that little flick up and try to go over the top of it, and you see Kevin Doyle able to pounce on the second ball there and get a pretty clean look. And as you said, he's beaten the goalkeeper, but just off target. And it's been determined there was a deflection, so corner kick for the Rapids.
Powers near post, helped on by Miller and just out of play. Well, easily the best chance we've seen so far in the opening 20 minutes. The Keno North Stadium, the Desert Diamond Cup.
The width of the New York City center backs in the way they build out is actually causing Colorado some problems in the way they want to press. Very difficult for them to press the center backs if that first ball goes out wide early, and then the wide players are chasing backward again, and it ends up with 2v1 situations in the wide areas. So Colorado's going to have to make those adjustments early on.
Back with Miller. McNamara to Okoli, under pressure from Watson. Cronin does well to win the free kick to Sean Okoli. This is a New York City side that was arguably the most entertaining in 2016. Plenty of goals, the highest scorers in the league with 62. They did give up a few goals. I think only the bottom three in the Eastern Conference conceded more. You can't say there weren't goals in the games involving New York City. Hairston battling away with Ben Sweat. I think part of that form, or certainly the finishing position for New York City in 2016 was their road form. Remember, at one point they had a better road record than they did at Yankee Stadium.
Well, they were not afraid to go score goals on the road, and got results because of it. Had teams that had to come out a little bit and react to that, and they were able to be pretty high scoring on both home and away. And when you start talking about attacking talent that's not even in this game, the Jack Harrisons of the world, they've definitely got riches to go all the way across that front four, and they've got a good balance when you talk about Pirlo and being and guys that can sit behind the ball and give it a little bit more shape and contain the game in front of them.
The best road record, in fact, in all of Major League Soccer. 7-7-3, 24 of their 54 points away from Yankee Stadium. That's a big chunk. Pirlo with the corner. Drops into the gap. It's away by Kevin Doyle. Did that come off Jared Watts? No, and it's out for a goal kick. 25th minute here, still no score between these two sides. It was a a slow burn of the game prior to this, and then 2 quick goals at the end of the first half for Houston Dynamo. The Red Bulls then came back in the second half for a 2-2 tie. The Rapids starting this Desert Diamond Cup with a tie against Sporting KC and then a win over New England Revolution. No foul according to the referee. Badgie threading it through to Kevin Doyle, but Briant was equal to the task there, read the situation very well. When he should look ruffled, he doesn't look ruffled, does he, Andrea Pirlo?
There's no ruffle there.
Hairston up against Briant, onto his left foot, across goal. And again, Briant doing well to charge down the danger. 2-2.
I think Briant has read everything quite well so far tonight. He's been caught in a couple of these situations where New York City's turned over the ball and he's ended up defending individually and just, you know, he's not going to match Marlon Hairston for pace, but his timing and the way he can dictate where that ball is going to go, get it into the near post, get the block on it, very important in saving the situation for New York City.
Back in by Watts. Back in further by McNamara, I think. Little tug on the jersey or the shoulder from Jared Watts, a bit cynical, and we'll get a yellow card from Ricardo Salazar. McNamara does well to find Shelton, who does well to hold off Schuberg. The physical stuff from the Rapids. Badgie is offside. You see at the bottom of your screen there, Patrick Vieira getting some instructions to carry Shelton, I think, suggesting he gets it wide rather than trying to get away from players, just ride one challenge and find his man.
When you have that type of pace wide, if you can get people isolated, running at the back four, running at defenders individually, you're going to have a lot more, create a lot more chances there. And Patrick Vieira knows that Colorado loves to stay in that back four, stay intact, and defend in numbers.
Well, the news coming out of the Rapids today, they have got a game change, a date change. The game against LA Galaxy, which was originally scheduled for May 31st, which was a Wednesday, that's been put back to September the 2nd, the 9 PM Mountain Time start. That's on the road at StubHub Center against LA Galaxy. And looking at that little run now, not sure whether you've had a chance to have a look at the schedule, how that affects it. That's now 4 road games in a row in 17 days.
That will become a challenge.
Portland, RSL, LA, Houston.
Definitely makes the early part of the schedule an absolute key for this team to try to get out, try to get points, and not have to chase points on the road at a pretty critical time of the year.
The Rapids in their burgundy jerseys tonight. The official jersey launch and season kickoff party is a week today, March 1st at City Hall. That's off Broadway. from 6 to 9 p.m. next Wednesday. It is free and open to the public, so get along there. It's always a wonderful occasion. Chance to see the jersey up close and personal. The gold is the alternate jersey, and of course the Rapids roster for 2017 will all be in attendance. Well left by Kyrie Shelton. On by Doyle. Back to Briant into the final 15 minutes of the first half. Still drawing a blank. Referee deciding that Okoli was a little late on Jared Watts. No advantage played. Also no advantage from the ensuing play. So we'll take it back. Free kick to the Rapids away to our right-hand side.
That's a let's not let preseason get out of hand call.
These two sides, of course, only meet once in the regular season. That'll be at Dick's Sporting Goods Park in September. So a lot will happen, no doubt. Well, of course, will happen between now and then in terms of games and standings. It's shaping up to be a big month for the Rapids, September, with that addition of the LA Galaxy road trip. Just see a few little sanded areas on this near side, but to be fair, the amount of games that it's had on in such a short space of time, the pitch has held up very, very well.
Yeah, and the training fields, they've done a spectacular job here in creating an environment where teams can come here, worry about getting their work done, and all the little details are taken care of for them. Big hats off to FC Tucson and everything that they've done with this.
Cronin. Heston was making the run, had to check. And finds Badgie, who's got Shelton. This could be a foot race. In fact, it's going to be a free kick. Little just touch on the shoulder of Badgie from Shelton. Taken quickly by the Rapids. Badgie is still down though, and he's holding. He's holding his left knee now.
Hard to see in the replay where exactly he got it.
We've had 34 minutes and the only real chance was a good one. Kevin Doyle grazing the outside of the post.
Two teams so far that have been concentrating on their defensive structure, which is easy to do in preseason because Defending is all about structure.
In by Birch and put over by Dominic Badgie. They were queuing up there, skipped through Kevin Doyle and then Marlon Hairston. And it was Badgie at the back post. Wonderful delivery from Mark Birch. The finishing touch was not quite there though.
Early ball out wide from Dylan Powers. It finds Birch. He's able to get in a more advanced position and certainly good delivery. Multiple chances that go like that start resulting in goals.
Still more to come from NYCFC without, as we already mentioned, without Jack Harrison, without David Villa, without Maxi Morales, recent signing, and Miguel Camargo, a Panamanian.
A lot of good choices to make there.
New York City looking to tidy up. A little sloppy back there. And to be fair, I'm not sure Andrea Pirlo's high lofted ball towards Brouillon did him too many favours. And in fact, he gets a shake of the hand from the Italian.
Give him a little skill check there. See, Azira gets a bit late on Sturzer. Can hear Pablo Mastroeni barking about pressing, getting them into that little area, and then going with numbers to not let New York City out of it and have the success they've had in building out to this point.
Awuo finds McNamara, who couldn't find Okoli. Little nutmeg there on Sturzer from Michael Azira. Brown back to Awuo, back to Sweat. Sweat turns his man nicely. Finds Sturzer. Got some speed down that wing. Powers does enough. Can he find Doyle? And can Doyle stay on side? New York City getting back in numbers now.
Mark Birch is going to be frustrated there. Sam Cronin couldn't quite get it out of his feet and find him early. Once the counter breaks down through Powers and he's got to spin, then they're looking to get down this other touchline. And Birch had put the effort in. He just couldn't quite get the delivery there.
Brown up against Miller, back to McNamara, going for the far post, and it needed Zach McMath at full stretch, and that the best effort from NYCFC.
Well, good work from Brown down that left-hand side. He's isolated there. We'll probably get another look at it here after the corner, but he gets isolated in that wide area, and then McNamara pops out. Great effort on goal. Very nice save from Zach McMath.
Let's have a look at this wonderful chance for Tommy McNamara.
Well, Brown once again isolated out in that wide area.
It's worth waiting for. Into the last 5 minutes here at Keno North Stadium. No score. The two sides have both had at least one very good chance apiece. Kevin Doyle for the Rapids and Tommy McNamara for NYCFC.
There you see Brown with McNamara able to get his head up. Good look. And Zach McMath does very well to push that wide of the bar there.
McNamara, another player to have had a wonderful 2016. Career highs in so many categories, minutes and shots on goal, games played, games started. An injury hit start to his MLS career, but he's showing exactly what he's made of. Can't help but learn when you're in the company every day of the likes of Pirlo and David Villa, and last season Frank Lampard. Good defensive work from New York City just to create pressure. And then helps the turnover. Okoli. Ball put out of play by Mark Birch.
Well, Colorado with both fullbacks pressed on, trying to create something in the final third. They've got to be very good with the ball in the middle of the field, because once they turn over possession, New York City FC can break very quickly. Okoli, not only the pace through the middle, but even getting support with Shelton, Brown, those guys can join very fast. So Colorado's got to be careful, even though they want to commit those numbers to it. What's the shape behind the ball look like?
A little too heavy there from Shannon Gomez. Approaching half time. And Brian, two sides. You said they're not giving too much away, but the two best chances from two pieces of individual excellence.
Well, kind of expanding on the point from earlier, this point in preseason, it's easier to organize and kind of set the destructive phase of the game on the defensive side than it is to kind of nourish that creativity at this point. You got to come from that platform, and this is how we defend. This is how we're going to build from the starting positions that create. I think both teams have had to look at that and how they're going to get forward from the structure that they've created, and it's created a situation where it's not quite as clean in the final third. Once again, though, here's a effort from Birch getting into the box. Probably the most chances in the game coming out of those wide areas through Mark Birch.
Yes, he's got a fine left foot, hasn't he, Mark Birch? And 2 or 3 times he's delivered a decent ball in. Into the last minute. Not sure we're going to have too much stoppage time. In fact, I had just seen a little shake of the head from the fourth official to maybe confirm that we will not have any stoppage time. So approaching the last 30 seconds of this first half. Falling to Hairston. Surprised he didn't take it first time, but Cronin does. And in the last few seconds of the first half, Sam Cronin has put the ball past Arik Johansson. He doesn't score many, Sam Cronin, but that's a decent effort.
Well, but when he does, it looks like that, because we've seen this before from Sam Cronin. The volley, edge of the 18, once again, creating a shape behind the ball that you can keep it in. And that's a pretty good way to end your night, is scoring on the final whistle.
No further time in the first half. Ricardo Salazar doesn't even allow the game to restart after that goal. So the last kick of the first half was the volley from Sam Cronin that gives the Rapids the lead at half-time. A bit of a rub on the top of the head from Alan Gordon. Smile from Tim Howard, who's still rehabbing with his the injury sustained on international duty. I suspect we'll not see too many of those faces in the second half. You can see Shkelsen Gashi as well, as they look to switch over, get some fluids on board and be ready to go again on Saturday, though 11. As we look back on the first half highlights from Keno North Stadium, and Kevin Doyle was reasonably busy, had the best chance before that goal for the Rapids.
We see a lot of kind of half chances and situations created on second balls and kind of trying to keep the game in, but there's the best effort prior to the goal from Kevin Doyle. Good long range shot. Marlon Hairston with a little pace. And once again, a good job by Brilliant to keep it at 0-0 at that point. Mark Birch, which we saw repeatedly in the first half, his delivery from those areas. But Brown sets up a very nice chance for McNamara, who gets that off for the save. And the goal, right on the death of the half from Sam Cronin. He'll be thrilled with that, and Rapids will be happy to take that lead into halftime and make some significant changes.
I think he scored a very similar goal to that against Portland Timbers, didn't he, a couple of seasons ago at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. That was in regular season play. This is pre-season, half-time at Keno North Stadium. Don't go too far. We'll have the second half coming up around 10 minutes from now, but at half-time it's NYCFC 0, Colorado Rapids 1.
this in about 10 minutes. We're going to have to redo it. The sun's going to go down. I'm at 2.8. Quarter. Who are you talking to? No, I'm at a quarter ND and my f-stop is 2.8. Well, yeah, but I can't go much lower than that. Hey, no. It's a 2.8. It's an f-stop. I'm a quarter ND. So I can't white balance it. I understand that, but right now I'm at a quarter ND at 2.8.
Welcome back to Keno North Stadium. We are set for the second half of the final game of the day in the Desert Diamond Cup third round of games. A full change for the Rapids. We will run through the lineup for Colorado shortly. The Rapids leading by 1-0. Sam Cronin with the goal just on the stroke of half-time. Don't think NYCFC have made any changes at the break.
Doesn't appear they
Doesn't
have.
appear. I'm kind of looking at the jerseys, see if any fresh jerseys. They're all sweat soaked, so that suggests they've already had a bit of a run around. Bobby Burling, Nana Boateng. Alongside Sam Hamilton in this second half. So let me give you the Rapids 11. Cody Mizell in goal. The back four of Dennis Castillo, Courtney Ford, Bobby Burling and Mikael Williams. The holding pair, already mentioned them, Sam Hamilton and Nana Boateng. On the right-hand side of the three, the guest player Tony Cassio, Ricardo Perez and Liam Callahan on the left, and Caleb Calvert, who got 2 goals against the Revolution in the last game. He is up top. A little cooler in the second half. You can probably see there's not too many shadows. The sun beginning to set.
Oh, that's probably a good thing for New York City, as we saw in the last game, when one team makes wholesale changes at halftime and another one tries to push guys through the minutes that they're wanting for the fitness. Sometimes it creates a little imbalance in the second half of these games.
So the Rapids will be looking to test their depth. Down below us on the Rapids bench, who will not take part tonight, Alan Gordon, Shkelson Gashi. Of course, Dylan Cerner is still working his way back to fitness following his ACL injury last summer. Sturzer.
And Tim Howard.
And Tim Howard, of course, yes, who's been a popular figure, as you would imagine, with the fans here tonight.
Is this the same gear you have at TCC?
to Awua. Shows a little too much to Dennis Castillo. Does Jalen Brown. '38th pick overall, 16th pick of the second round of the 2017 MLS Super Draft. 80 college appearances, 14 goals and 8 assists. Burling to Hamilton, another recently to emerge out of college, selected by the Rapids in the draft as well, out of the University of Denver. Nana Boateng, joined from Strømsgodset of Norway. They've been on Manchester City books. And another new player for the Rapids, Courtney Ford. And another one out of DU. Burling, a little firm for Boateng, does well to get it to Williams, back to Hamilton. Briand under pressure. Callahan leaves it for Williams. Serves up Boateng. Back to Hamilton, gets a little nudge after the ball's gone from Okoli, just to welcome him to the game. Perez, dummy eventually finds Tony Cassio. Perez is onside, threads it through. That's going to be cut out though by Ben Sweat. Who then gives away the free kick as Cassio gets in front of him.
Well, Tony Cassio does a good job of just sliding a hip in front of Sweat and forcing him to kind of roll him down. Makes the best of a situation that really wasn't going to work out for him.
They've got a situation here at Liam Callahan. The draft pick out of Syracuse is being told to get the ball back 6 inches by Andrea Pirlo. Can't imagine he was ever thought that would happen 6 months ago or even 6 weeks ago. Callahan around Pirlo. It's away by Shelton.
Good look at the quickness and the range of Boateng there. Step behind and all of a sudden gets a leg in and draws a foul there.
Goes by Nana. Bismarck AJ Boateng is his name. Is he agreed, confirmed that he's going to have Nana on the back of his jersey? Don't think we're too sure yet.
I was not in those negotiations.
We will find out in the coming weeks, no doubt. Corner kick to the Rapids. As the floodlights flicker into life. Callahan will deliver. Calvert and Eirik Johansson on the goal line. The last player to touch that was Sam Hamilton.
Good look at Caleb Calvert there. Had a very good night on Saturday. Young player that's spent a lot of time in USL and proven himself at this level.
Sturzer does well. Finds Shelton. And then runs out of options. A little too eager there, Caleb Calvert, leaning into Sweat.
Although,
Or was it the Briant? Nothing given by the referee though. Courtney Ford for the Colorado Rapids. Came through the Development Academy. Homegrown player. To another, Ricardo Perez. We'll see a change shortly for New York City. I think it's one of their new signings. Miguel Camargo, Panamanian. Signed last month on a year-long loan from a club in Panama. So Camargo on for Jalen Brown. We'll move out to this near side while Camargo on this left-hand side, an attacking midfielder. It's his first touch. Callahan giving chase, back to Williams. Boateng. Given away. New York City trying to find a way out here. It's going to come back. Maybe not before they've had half a chance at the other end. Bobby Burling having to get in ahead of Sean Okoli. Kwame Awua. Back to Sweat. Johansson to Briant. Under pressure from Caleb Calvert. Courtney Ford's quick, so's Okoli. I think that's the first touch in this game for Cody Mizell.
Well, not a lot of possession for either group in this half. Rapids maybe with a little bit more, but like to be able to connect and bring more into the game. A lot of this turning balls over, transition, back and forth. It also looks like New York is maybe a little bit starting to tire a little bit. could use some changes to freshen that group up. I know they've only got 5 or 6 players on that bench to make those changes. They're probably intending to try to get guys through as many minutes as they can.
Yeah, not too many on the bench. Wingate, White, Rawls, who's the goalkeeper. Maxime Chanot. What a whole host of options for Patrick Vieira. Camargo. Hamilton intercepts. Castillo to Perez. Approaching the hour mark. Still that Sam Cronin goal separating the two sides. Pielo picks up. Finds McNamara. To Sweat. Now Wood. McNamara again. Pressing by the Rapids.
You can see Colorado taking a pretty high line to where they're defending, trying to win the ball back higher on the field, not allowing, like happened in the first half, the center backs to play quite as much. And this ball here that has just broken them is the ball that killed them in the first half, where they had to do a lot of retreating and running back to their own goal.
Don't see that very often. Andrea Pielo miscuing one. City win it back. Sterza. A little too wide for McNamara. Allowing Boateng to steal in, but back with NYC. Briant. Okoli, first time, finds Shelton. I think we could see that coming, the way Sam Hamilton was yapping and snapping, not letting go.
Took him 20 yards to do it, though.
Well, confusion there between Ford and Castillo. Camargo trying to wriggle his way through and almost did so. Waved away by the referee.
Well, a lot of pressure brought on by New York City FC, and a lot of it comes where Ford not communicating there, not allowing Dennis Castillo to do that work, and quick feet by Camargo to try to get that effort off, and just can't quite do it. Preseason's about players getting minutes together, finding combinations of players that have an understanding.
Nice layoff from Casio. Gets the return from Perez. Created two chances from this angle on Saturday, did Tony Cassio, going it alone. He's cut out by Briant. Didn't quite have the venom either from Tony Cassio with that finishing touch.
Well, Cassio has been a bit of a spark in when he's played with this group, and once again able to just free himself a little bit, get the shot off. Briant with another little block in there.
Pirlo just lofting one over the top. Giving Coley something to chase. He might just call Patrick Vieira, gesticulating, urging his substitutes to get back over, so we might be seeing them shortly. The Rapids trying to play their way out of defence. Almost came off. Awur, back to Camargo. Sturzer. Camargo again, gets the return. Nice play here from NYCFC, a teasing ball from McNamara, and Shelton just a yard or two short.
Great little combination from Camargo with McNamara, and flashes that ball across. It looked a little bit closer from our angle than it does on the replay, but certainly good position. If he gets guys making the near post there, very dangerous. He's been dangerous from wide areas, dangerous underneath in there, central. Coming back into 2017 like he exited 2016.
And just moving that ball quickly as well. Stretching the Rapids defensively. Approaching the midway point of the second half, still 1-0 to Colorado Rapids. Sam Cronin with the goal in the 45th minute, the last kick of the first half. Not going to fall to Okoli, falls to Boateng, and away by Castillo. As far as Sweat. Gomez, to Pirlo. Gomez once again. Shelton. Sturzer looking for Okoli. Courtney Ford for company.
New York City back on the game now, able to find some passes, keep a little possession. A little bit better rhythm to the game from them now. And you see the difference in where Colorado is set up and how deep they are now as they try to press and win the ball back.
Nice from Pirlo onto Okoli, lets it drop once. Maybe should have taken it earlier. But Pirlo, something out of nothing, really.
Even though he's got a big body standing in front of him, he's got the presence to clip that little ball in behind, force Colorado to turn. That Pirlo guy, he's got something.
He's not bad, is he?
He might have a chance.
little unfair on Okoli there. On that replay, you could see it just took a little skip, maybe half a yard beyond what would have been his shooting swing circle, if that's the right phrase. Getting ready for another change, New York City. It's going to be Ethan White coming on. Unselfish from Sam Hamilton. He could have gone it alone. Played in Calvert, and Calvert was offside.
Well, Hamilton, good job of pressing in midfield, able to win the ball, and then attack straight at his defender, and maybe a touch late there. Caleb Calvert looking down the line, can't stay on side. Wouldn't have minded him shaping that into the far post.
So White comes on. I think it's Shannon Gomez that's gone out of the game. He's you can just gone out of the picture as he's wandered around the far side. He's gone out over on the far side of the field. It was the nearest point of exit. So Ethan White, who signed a new contract in the off-season, comes in for the final 20 minutes or so, with his side trailing by 1-0. But the better side in the second half. Nice. Tony Cassio still looking for Kwame Awuah. Camargo finds McNamara. Awuah, far post. Wild slash clearance from Liam Callaghan. Intercepted by White. Back to Briant. Another change is pending for NYCFC. Okoli. Not quite, little heavy from Pirlo. Just wonderful to watch at times.
New York City really on top of it now. Every time they go into those wide areas, they're a threat. That means that Colorado's got to stretch, try to get bodies to the ball there, and then it leaves room for Pirlo and McNamara and their central guys to get on it. So a lot to deal with from Colorado's standpoint when New York City gets on it and gets a rhythm.
Sturts are a little heavy on Ricardo Perez. Sturts is
Much
back
like
on his feet
Perez's
though.
touch.
The Briant makes way. His place is taken by 16-year-old James Sands. Yes, 16.
Fantastic opportunities for these young guys to get some minutes and games that have meaning, but still can be a good learning experience.
Chris Wingate coming in for John Sturtser. So a couple of changes, some fresh legs for an NYCFC side that have been on top anyway. Now we know Andrea Pirlo is pretty good from set pieces. About 30 yards from goal. And Cody Mizell, something to tell his grandchildren.
Well, you had a good idea that Pirlo was going to step up and hit that little knuckler that gets over the wall and then just drops, and he does it as he does so well.
Could be dangerous here at the back post. Just out of reach. James Sands, who's come on in the last few moments. Takes something to impress Patrick Vieira, who is impressed with this young man. US Youth International and an academy player as well. A little bit of history in becoming the first academy product to train with the first team. Well, not only train, he's playing in these pre-season games with the first team players as well. And whether you're an NYCFC fan or a fan of soccer in North America, in the USA, these are good signs that these players that are coming through younger and younger, and yes, there is the college route, of course there is that depth.
Well, and if you look at that area and their neighbors in New York and Philadelphia and what they've done from an academy standpoint, you got to think that New York City will have the ability to create that pipeline themselves.
And it's not an easy role either, is it? Central defence. He's come on to play. James Sands can play midfield as well. Yeah, a little bit of desperate defending now from the Rapids. A little tug here and a pull there just to break up the play.
Coley's so quick on the turn, and he's got that balance. He understands when a player comes around him, tries to get on his hip, and he's got that quick little turn to break away.
Perez to take advantage, gets the throw his way. To the last 15 minutes at Keno North Stadium. Colorado Rapids leading by 1-0 against a New York City side that pretty much done everything but score in the second half. They've had the pressure and possession. They've got some defending to do here, and Callahan just inches away. Ball zipped across the 6-yard box from Caleb Calvert. The ball eventually comes out, it finds its way to Pirlo. Camargo giving chase, can he keep it in? He does, and he does well. Up against Courtney Ford, who's foxed for a little moment and then gets his game back on. That will be kept in. A little too heavy.
It's pretty exciting to see some of these guys that Camargo, Panamanian, you know, look at the footwork on him as he goes. Bringing some of these guys into the league that are quite exciting. see him playing against a Colorado homegrown. It's always fun to see these young players get the opportunity.
Castillo looking for Perez. That should be easy for Sweat. Back to Johansson. Given away by Wingate. Courtney Ford, a bit of space to run into, but Courtney holds him up. So it looks like the Rapids against Houston Dynamo for the Desert Diamond Cup on Saturday. Pirlo. Surging forward once again. It's just that final ball, isn't it, from NYCFC that's been lacking. The approach play has been impressive.
They've been able to get into good spots, especially in those wide areas just around the 18-yard box. Like you've said, the quality of that final ball, maybe the timing, the movement of those runs in the box, and those are things that are very difficult to get right, not only when you got a group of players that hasn't played together a lot, but at this time in preseason.
Just a reminder, the Rapids' first game of the regular season, a week on Saturday, March 4th, 4 p.m. kickoff at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Go to coloradorapids.com or call 303-825-GOAL for tickets to that game against New England Revolution. New York City's first game of the season, March 5th at Orlando. Their first home game is home to DC United on March the 12th. Go to nycfc.com or 855-776-9232 to get tickets for that game, second game of the season for NYCFC, the first one at Yankee Stadium of 2017. Offside, Okoli. Seemed to be a hand there from Tommy McNamara, yes, according to referee Ricardo Salazar. And if you want to see the new alternate jersey up close and personal, the Rapids one that is, March 1st, 6 to 9 p.m. at City Hall off Broadway in downtown Denver. It's the jersey launch and the official season kickoff party. All the players will be in attendance. Lots of great activities and interaction with the players possible. It's free and it's open to all. Burling finds Mikel Williams. Callahan on to Williams again. Hamilton tidying up. The Rapids seem to have ridden the storm. That said,
yeah, I think they've been able to get back on the ball, have a little more possession, find pretty good spots. To be honest, the game is a bit stretched. Look at the spaces that these second balls are dropping into. I think both teams struggling to keep a really solid shape when they don't have the ball.
I mentioned players not available to Patrick Vieira. The one player I didn't mention, Rodney Wallace. Rodney Wallace back in Major League Soccer, signed this time last week, 15th of February. Spent 2016 in a bit of time in Portugal, bit of time in Brazil. Was an MLS Cup winner with Portland Timbers.
Wallace, another good addition to this as they build a roster that looks to take one step forward from where they were last year in a successful campaign for New York City.
Yeah, not a bad year, was it? Similar in a lot of ways to the Rapids. It was good without having that trophy, that silverware to show at the end of it. But certainly something to build on.
Well, they've got a product that's exciting, and they've added some pieces to it that kind of continue that pattern. So Eastern Conference is going to be quite interesting when you start throwing the likes of Atlanta into the mix. Some good players brought in across the board in the East.
Free kick to the Rapids against Miguel Camargo on Tony Cassio. Hamilton's impressed me in this second half. The first time I've seen him live. He's busy, he's strong. Doesn't seem to be overawed by too much.
Composed, simple in the way he plays in general.
And again, the story there. Just a few months out of a wonderful season for the University of Denver, and he was there with the ball at his feet, just a matter of yards away from one of the greats of his generation, Andrea Pirlo. How fortunes can change. Okoli, far too heavy.
It's worth mentioning we've called University of Denver quite a few times here, not only himself and Courtney Ford, but earlier game Taylor Hunter, guys that have progressed on from that program. So big presence here in Tucson from the University of Denver.
The clock is ticking. The sun has set at Keno North Stadium. The last game of the day. Not the goals we've seen in the opening two games, which shared 12 between them. So Cody Mazel, that could have gone anywhere, that ricochet.
Well, Courtney Ford was in a battle in the corner and decided that the best way out was going to... Coley's got a little piece of everything there, I think, for a second, but a little bit soft and gives Camargo a chance. Good job by Mazel being aggressive and making sure it ends up somewhere besides the goal.
Boateng. He's still finding his feet, of course. Under hit again from Courtney Ford there. A nice little drop of the shoulder, give him the space in the first place. Heavy from Callahan. Pirlo into the last 90 seconds of the regulation time, plus any time added on by Ricardo Salazar. At this stage of pre-season, it's of course it's about results. It's about the performance. Sorry, it's about performance, not necessarily results. But results at this stage with momentum is also pretty valuable with the opening game just a few days away.
It definitely is, and it's one of those things where you come out of it a year ago, and the Rapids would tell you that results really don't matter because it didn't go well and the experience is more important. And if you look at it right now, this team is going to come out of this event with quite a bit of confidence. They've found ways to win games. They haven't necessarily created as many chances as they'd like to this point in this game, but you saw over the weekend they were able to score some goals and get a lot of confidence, get strikers moving and scoring goals. Those are huge pieces as you come out, and we'll see on Saturday probably both of these teams working kind of first team lineups for as many minutes as they can in preparation for 10 days from now opening the season, 11 days maybe in the case of New York City.
All eyes on the referee Ricardo Salazar, whistle in his mouth, and there is the final whistle. No added time at the end of this game, so the Rapids win it by 1-0. Despite being under pressure in that second half, New York City just couldn't quite find the back of the net to level things up. The two coaches exchanging pleasantries as we take you back through the highlights of this game.
Well, early highlights, first half, that ends up being the game winner with Sam Cronin dealing with the second ball and getting it on goal. And Colorado with some early chances in the second half as Perez gets it out to Casio, who is able to get into the box. Not quite get everything he wanted on that shot, but New York City really found periods of the second half where they had possession, they were able to create, and Camargo's quick feet were a big part of that, finding combinations. Camargo, McNamara getting in the box, flashing little balls across, but just couldn't connect. New York City finding a lot of success down that left-hand side. And of course the master, Pirlo, with those little passes, but always just a step off tonight. A lot of creativity, and here's Pirlo going to goal. Cody Mazzell staying with it, making a save that, as you said, he'll be able to talk to his grandkids about.
Absolutely. So Sam Cronin's goal, the difference in this game between New York City and Colorado Rapids. So it appears that the Rapids will take on Houston Dynamo for the championship game on Saturday evening, before they then step into the real world of the regular season a week later. Some legends of the game there, Tim Howard and Patrick Vieira. So there we have the standings confirmed. Colorado Rapids with 2 wins and a draw. So that takes them to 7 points alongside Houston Dynamo. Houston with a better goal difference, who's them top of the pile. The other games might not necessarily fall that way, because I think at this stage some of the sides don't want to play each other twice if they've already played each other in the round-robin format. So confirmation of the other games, I suspect, will be made in the coming hours, and certainly in the next 24 hours. But it appears that the Rapids will take on Houston Dynamo on Saturday. It's finished here at Keno North Stadium. Thanks for your company. New York City FC 0, Colorado Rapids 1. Good night.